Come on, you guys. Let's go. Let's go. This is the performance that I've been hoping to see for so long. Before the World Cup, you guys, we were in a completely dire situation. The football was getting worse. Players were getting injured left, right and centre. The overall vibe was negative and things weren't looking hopeful. But thank God actually for this World Cup, because for me, I think potentially this could be the blessing in disguise for Graham Potter. Now, throughout the past month, there have been numerous reports suggesting that Graham Potter has been working rigorously on using a back four system, using a 4-3-3. And I think in this game today, knowing the fact that essentially that month period was like a mini pre-season for Graham Potter to work on ideas, work on the training ground, get the guys familiar playing in this new way. And today, I think we saw very promising signs of things to come. This was a very good performance, especially considering that we've been so poor now for the past 2 months. And as I really stress, this was a promising sign of things to come. And let's hope we see more of this 4-3-3. Now, me personally, I've been getting clowned quite a lot over the past few months and years because I've wanted to see a 4-3-3, and it goes back to the same points I've been constantly reiterating now for God knows how long. I want the players to express themselves. I want the players to play attacking football. I want to see players playing in their familiar positions, playing in their best positions, not playing in their secondary or third positions. When you create these components in the field, you see a different performance. And I think we all have to agree today, the speed, the purpose in which we played with our possession. For large parts of this game, when you just dismiss the final 20-15 minutes, we had around 70% possession. But this wasn't short, sideways passes left and right. This wasn't like defensive possession football, the type of possession football that people were clowning and laughing about during the World Cup, where you're doing nothing with the ball other than just keeping it away from your opponents. This was purposeful football. We were creating attacks. Players looked familiar, looked comfortable. There were speeds, and we created varieties of different attacking opportunities compared to the same 3-4 ways we used to attack over this past 24 months, you guys. For me, as I'm stressing, this is a promising sign of things to come. And in today's match review, I need to talk about the big things that happened. I have to talk about the players that stood out today. Mason Mount, without doubt, the best player today. Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling, Zakaria. Wow, I can go on. So if you guys are happy to see this type of performance coming back into the restart of the Premier League season, let us know. But all I want to say, you guys, is that for me, it's new rules right now. If this is a sign of things to come, that we will continue to play 4-3-3, to continue to develop using a 4-3-3, continue to sign players in January who are familiar and using a 4-3-3. I mean, for God's sake, João Felix and Enzo Fernandez being the two big guys we're looking at currently. These guys will elevate how we play football, playing in this current formation and this current system. So I hope you guys can see the vision. I definitely can. Hit that like button if you're gassed by the performance, and getting straight into the review, and let's discuss the goals we scored. I mean, that first goal from Kai Havertz. Yeah, as I keep stressing you guys, Kai Havertz does his best stuff when he can withdraw from the game. And what's really interesting about his performance today is that this was not the typical rigged Kai Havertz that I was starting to get worried about, in terms of the fan base only knows him for being a guy that is, not expressive, not that technical, fights for aerial balls, etc., etc. For me, that's an example of mismanagement and poor coaching. And I'm going to say Tuchel, there was hopes at the time that he would elevate his fellow countrymen in your Werners and Havertzes. He did nothing at all. And I think this way that Graham Potter used Kai Havertz today is a sign, potentially and hopefully, of things to come. Throughout this game, Havertz was kind of drifting. Havertz was dropping deeper. There was times when Havertz was deceiving behind the halfway line, because that's what Havertz can do, with his whole game set. People have been constantly wondering, okay, is he like a striker or an attacking mid or a winger? And people are disappointed because he wasn't excelling in either one. He is like a combination of all of them. If you use him in a proper way where he can influence the game and allow him to be in positions he's comfortable with, to have that freedom. And I think that's the exact same words he said today in the press conference after this game. You will see a different player. Look at the first goal he scored. How often have we seen Kai Havertz peeling off to the back post to get on the end of an attack? That whole move was literally 3 passes, and we tore down Bournemouth. We broke through them and we got the first goal. And that's what Havertz can do. That's what Havertz can do if he develops even more to be more efficient and better in those areas. And I think there's more life to come. I mean, we know reports suggesting that João Felix is the guy we want on the left-hand side, with Kai Havertz being the centre forward. And, you know, if we allow Kai Havertz to be an expressive centre forward that can be involved in the link-up play, that can drop deeper, that can, you know, play passes in behind when the opportunities arise, when the two inside wingers kind of cut inside, allowing him to do that, you'll see a different player. So I was impressed with him today. He gets a goal, he gets an assist. There was one moment at the end where maybe Raheem Sterling could have potentially made it 3-0. We're having a bit of a debate in the stream. In my opinion, I thought Havertz should have played that first time to Sterling. He should have used Conor Gallagher as like a decoy to actually play that pass. But regardless, this was a promising performance of Havertz being involved in the game and making things happen. So I guess right now, let's talk about the second goal that was scored. And it segues in very nicely to, for me, the man of the match today and our best player. And that was Mason Mount. I mean, the goal he scored as well too. First time short, bottom corner outside the box. You're expecting that for a guy of his ability for sure. But as I'm stressing, I've been saying this for like so long. He is a midfield player. That is his best position. And deeper like this, considering everything he's learned over the past few seasons, playing as like a winger at times, playing as like a shadow striker, playing as a attacking mids, I think number 8 box to box is the role and position that fully encapsulates everything good about Mason Mount. Now, he constantly gets criticised for creativity, and this creativity nonsense I keep hearing really frustrates me, because it's just like, it's become some like magical word now where there's a lot of expectation behind it without people really understanding what creativity even means. We didn't play football to look for creativity. We played football working on set passing patterns and routines and automatisms. That's how we used to play. So there wasn't many opportunities for creativity. But Mount playing today showed the creativity he can bring in this team. Of course, he made the pass to find Raheem Sterling, and again, intelligent play. He receives a pass in behind that Bournemouth midfield line, half turn instantly, and then perfectly weighted pass to find Raheem Sterling, who's encouraged then to make the run in behind because he knows what's coming. And throughout this game today, his presence and influence throughout, he was constantly that passing option, wide on the left, wide on the right. He was constantly just finding pockets and roaming it behind that Bournemouth midfield line. You could see countless half turns of him turning defence into attack, because that is for me what Mount is best at. He is like that glue in the team where he links those things together. And then other players around him benefit from that. I'd encourage to make those runs, create the movement, and create that expression and freedom that we saw in the field today. On top of that, he was constantly involved in tackles and duels. He did not slack with his defensive work. Times when he had to track back to help cover Cucurella, he was there time and time again. And some of the skills on show today, I mean, some of the flicks, the half turns as well, and the driving runs, taking shots first time. This is what Mason Mount can do when he's playing in his very best position. And I've been very frustrated with a silly criticism around his name from people that don't really know what he's about. I've been watching this guy since he was 16, playing in our academy, playing this exact same way. I knew what he can do, what he's really about. People don't really know I've been taking this game at face value, when really it's the negative way we've been playing football more than the players. The way we've been playing football has affected the players more than the players actually ruining the system. And I just think that Mount has been like the number one target for all this nonsense and vitriol. But regardless, the guy today gave an example of what he can do playing in midfield on the left-hand side as a number 8. And that will bring up interesting questions around guys like Kovacic. No way in hell, in my opinion, Kovacic gets over Mason Mount on the left for midfield 3. Not at all. That is his position right now. I hope Paul allows Mount to cook even more. And we'll see even more of what Mason Mount can bring if he's allowed to play his best position now. So let's now move on to some of the final talking points with this game. And I feel like two guys that definitely deserve a lot of credit today, Zakaria and of course Raheem Sterling. A small shout out to Jorginho, who, you know, Jorginho's been playing back full mostly his whole career really before he came here for most of the time. I think Koulibaly, for example, felt a lot more comfortable having his his former teammate in front of him who he's played a lot of football with during their times at Napoli. But, going back to the main two, Zakaria. Well done, Zakaria, yeah? For me, I feel like this guy accepted the fact that he wasn't good enough to get in the team, but used that to challenge himself to keep working and working and working behind the scenes. He was not going to be Saul 2.0. He was going to make sure that if he did leave here, he was going to leave it with respect. And I think so far, these performances have been very encouraging, especially today where he was basically playing that Alan role at Napoli. So when Jorginho was the regista, he had Alan on the right-hand side. That was a carrier today. We saw a lot of great defending on that right-hand side when he was dropping back to help support the fullback and help support Koulibaly as well too, who looked a lot more authoritative, in my opinion, in this game today. But what I liked about Zakaria was the fact that when he won these tackles, he was looking to play these passes forward to find his teammates. That's what I liked. He wasn't playing a short pass away to pass the responsibility on to someone else. He was there to help kickstart the attack. And today, the ground he covered, his ability to win crucial tackles, like that sliding tackle in the first half as well. So I was thinking, oh, this is probably the best time for you to start showing form like this. So definitely respect to Zakaria. And today, Raheem Sterling, Man City Raheem Sterling was on show today. Obviously, I've been very critical of Sterling. But as I said at the start of this review, we are seeing new things now if we're going to maintain the use of a 4-3-3, where players play in their best positions and feel comfortable. Raheem Sterling probably played his best football of his career playing as a right winger for Man City for many years. And in this game today, I mean, wow. Like, Raheem Sterling was receiving out wides, outside of the opposition fullback. At times he'd be receiving inside the channel. There were so many nice rotations. That's what I really liked about this game today. Like the rotations, the triangular passing movements as well too. It just makes it very hard for teams to defend against. And Raheem Sterling definitely exemplified that. He had a lot of fun. He stretched their backline so much, caused so much disruption too. And for me, I think his performance deserved the goal today. And if only Conor Gallagher passed that ball, then Conor, you're a naughty boy for not doing that. Raheem Sterling rightfully gets the goal that he deserves today. And yeah, it's everything that I think we've wanted to see. Like a winger that can take his man on, get involved in the attack, and of course link up with his teammates. So Raheem Sterling, if this is an example of more things to come from him, then I think you guys have been in an amazing position right now for the second half of this season. But of course, to end things, yeah, I feel like I feel very vindicated. You guys know I've been a 4-3-3 merchant for a long time. People saying, oh, Nini, XYZ, XYZ. But listen, when I know something and I stick to it, yeah. I just think there's a power in using players in their best position when they're more comfortable to express themselves, play their football, and not have the shackles of the system constantly over their heads all the time. That's been our main number one thing. When we lose games, it's because of the system more than the players being bad, in my opinion. Because once we're a goal behind, what was the solution to play through teams? What was worked upon in the training grounds to get us back in those games? Absolutely nothing. And today, with a 4-3-3, we saw purpose. We saw late man runs. That's how you score goals in the Premier League. How often were Bournemouth defenders looking left and right thinking, who the hell did we pick up? And there was like 3 guys making runs to get inside the box. How many times have I seen 5 or 6 guys inside the box? Listen, we're a top 4 team. We need to play top 4 football. If you play against a weaker team, you need to dominate and you need to play with purpose and aggression and confidence, knowing the fact that you're good enough to get those goals and get the win. And today, we definitely show that today, you guys. So share your thoughts and opinions. Are you feel confident? Are you feeling happy now that we're returning back to Premier League football? Let us know below. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys tonight with another video. Cool.